But if you're working in those ranges of motion under load, doing Pilates, when you get put in that tricky situation and your knee kind of goes like that, you're like, oh, I'm actually okay.
Mimi, welcome to the podcast. Hello. Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Mimi and I am a Pilates instructor. I have a little business in Mount Beauty. I'm into skiing. Pretty much revolve my whole life around skiing.
So you live the dream life?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pilates and skiing.
That's you.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's awesome. And how long have you been in beauty for?
2 years in beauty, and then I was in Bright the year before that. So 3 years kind of full time.
Yeah.
And then about 11 winters at Falls Creek.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
So full time in beauty for just 2 years, but kind of been in the area.
And then were you doing like seasons before that?
Yeah.
And just staying up on the hill and
yeah.
So you've settled. In at beauty.
Yeah.
Bright beauty.
Yeah. From going winter to winter to full-time Mount Beauty life.
Yeah. And how does it feel having some summers in your life?
It's great. I'm just like, what have I been doing for all those years?
Oh, the
summer is fantastic.
I feel like it would feel extra special now doing 11 winters or 11 years.
11 years. So 11, I think.
So 22 winters?
Oh, not quite.
Okay. Yeah.
Probably I've done 11 at Falls.
Yep.
And then probably 4, 5, 6, 7, maybe 8 overseas.
Nice. Where have you been?
I lived in Canada. Did 3 seasons in Canada.
Whistler or?
Actually, I did 4. I did 3 in Whistler and then 1 in Banff.
Yeah.
And then Japan for 2.
Nice. Whereabouts?
Miyako for 1.
Oh, how good.
Which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then Hakuba as well. And then went to Andorra.
Oh, that would have been sweet.
Which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Which was awesome. And then did another one just traveling the States and went to Kazakhstan and Iran skiing, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I think that was all. So I did a few stints in the States nannying before Canada.
Nice.
So yeah, lots of places.
Here, there, everywhere.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. And where did you grow up?
In Melbourne.
Nice. In the burbs?
In the burbs, southeast Melbourne.
Whereabouts?
Cheltenham.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you kind of near the beach before?
Kind of near the beach.
The mountains?
Yeah. Yeah. We grew up, well, started in Port Melbourne and then moved to Cheltenham.
Yeah, nice. And how did you get into skiing?
From my parents. We were very lucky to start skiing when I was 3.
Yeah, I was the same.
Yeah. So good.
Blessed.
Yeah. We'd just go for a week every year.
Have fun. And where did you go?
Apparently we started in Hotham.
Okay, yeah.
But it was all too hard with the tractor. I don't know. Did you ski at Hotham?
Yeah. Not when I was young. So was there
apparently
what's this about the tractor?
Tractor that used to go from, I could be wrong, so I don't remember it. But
Mum
tells me about it, that it was all just very hard. Because you know how there's the big D and then the main area?
Yeah.
And apparently it was like a tractor that used to pick the kids up and then get on this tractor and go down the road, drop you off at the main bit.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Because now there's buses.
Totally.
But yeah, apparently it was a tractor. So I think we did maybe the first year there. And then we actually went to Thredbo every year.
Sick.
Yeah.
How good.
So
I mean, if you've got a week, why not?
Yeah. And that was awesome. There was 3 families. We'd stay at a lodge and we met the other 2 families there and then we'd just go back the same time every year.
What a time.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's so nice to have that like week block, and like as a kid, it's like, yes, we're going to Threadbow.
I know, so fun.
Yeah,
so fun.
Epic.
So yeah, we were really lucky.
Mm-hmm.
And then my parents, when I was in year 4, they decided to do a ski season. In Jindabyne. So we're even luckier then.
Yeah, parents.
But they sent us to school.
Yeah, how dare they?
They got to ski every day.
Well played, parents. Well played.
Exactly. I'm like, I'd probably do exactly the same thing. Yeah. So we just skied on the weekends, and we were in like, whatever.
Like snowy mountains? Like schools?
We just went to the
local.
Yeah, Jindabyne Primary.
Yeah. How cool. And so for 1 year you did that, or did you do
just
that for a couple?
3 months?
3 months.
Yeah. And
that's epic.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. So yeah, we kind of have always been skiing.
Skiing, yeah. And do your parents still ski?
My mum does. Yeah. My mum loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Dad doesn't really get up anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because but mum's always been very focused on making sure I keep skiing.
Yeah, she's the skier. I was like, I feel like there's always like one parent usually.
Yeah.
That's like my dad was like, because I grew up skiing and stuff as well. Like mum loved it, but it like wasn't her jam. She grew up in the country. So for her, she's like, just wants to be in the city and live city life, where dad's like, activities, sports, let's go.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm just like my dad.
You got the driving course. Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, dad was like the skier, all the things.
Yeah.
Always trying to find new activities to do, always on an adventure. So I think, there's often.
That's where you got it from.
Yeah, totally. Totally all from my dad.
Yeah.
Although my mum's like the sporty, the gifted one, I guess. I hope they don't listen, because dad will be like, that's bullshit.
I'm sporty too.
I'm sporty. Yeah, but mum's just like you know how there's like those people that are just like freaks at sport?
Yeah.
That was my mum. So
yeah, okay.
Yeah, she was the sporty one.
Yeah.
But dad's like, he's average. Like he loves it. He gets it. Like he's not left behind, but mum's like the sporty one.
The gifted one.
Totally.
Yeah, I feel like that was like my dad probably was the one who got mum into it.
Yeah.
But then.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. But then mum was like let's do this all the time.
Let's go. I love this. But I think that's also something, it's like, I feel like when you get introduced to something as an adult, you kind of like, for example, like snow, I always like say it's like my first love. And then bikes is like my new love.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm like, oh my God, this is so much fun. I think because I haven't been doing it since I was like 3 years old.
Yeah.
Hasn't like
and you're like learning something new, so it's still a bit scary and like.
Totally. A little bit addictive.
Exciting every time. Not that skiing isn't, but you're just going through the motions a lot of the time.
Totally.
We've been doing it forever.
And sometimes that novelty can wear off.
Yeah.
And then you become a little bit more like, oh, the weather's not good. And like, fair weather skier.
I know. I was like, I never want to be like that. And now I'm like a little bit like that.
Well, especially if you're living up there.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, it's a bit windy.
I'm so close to home and like
just
nice
go home.
Couch. Wind fucking sucks though.
Wind is the worst element ever.
Yeah.
Like rain, you can deal with. It's kind of nice. But if it's windy and raining, it's awful.
It's the pits.
Yeah.
It's not, I get real sooky when it's like windy and raining, and you're just on the chair, or you're just in the elements, like this is just like bracing for it.
Yeah, and it's just piercing your face.
It actually feels like little like ice shards just like hitting.
Worst.
Yeah, unless you're like fully enclosed.
Yeah.
Then nah.
No good. No good.
I mean, if you have the option, if you don't have the option and there's that novelty that hasn't worn off, you're like, this is awesome.
Exactly. It'd probably be like us on bikes. It'd be like, it's fine. This is nice.
Totally. Yeah. It's like, it's kind of like shit weather and it's like sucks, but like this is still fun.
We're having fun.
Still an adventure.
Yeah.
This is fun. Are you having fun? And then the person at the back is like, no,
not at all.
And what was the transition between, like, did you go straight into seasons and stuff once you finished school? Like,
yeah. So when I was at school, I don't know. Did you grow up in Melbourne?
Yeah, I grew up in Melbourne.
Whereabouts?
I was in Camberwell.
So there was an indoor ski centre
Well, yeah.
it was called Ski City.
Yes, I think I remember this because I was like I competed and stuff when I was at like 14, 15. So I reckon
Like racing?
I raced when I was younger. I was a race club kid. I don't want to. I was like, oh, it'll get out. I was a race club kid when I was young, and then I didn't want to race anymore and did more park stuff.
Yeah.
Once I got like 14, 15, and yeah, I loved it. But I never went to the indoor. Was it in the city? Or?
It was in Cheltenham.
That's right. Yeah.
So right near Southland.
Yeah, that's right. I do remember it.
Yeah. And it was like pretty much a giant treadmill.
How cool.
And there was 3 of them. So it was 3 slopes. And they were like AstroTurfy kind of vibes with like a little sprinkler system. And there was 10 speeds and 10.
Oh my God, it's actually like a treadmill.
Yeah. And then 10 like incline settings.
Oh, wow.
So it could be like steep and fast and you could properly turn on it.
Wait, so that means you don't stop. Like there's no end of the run.
No, it's just consistent. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool. Like it was.
But I mean, after a little while, you'd be like,
you'd literally be on it for 5 minutes and you'd be like, oh my God, my legs are burning. But yeah, it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
Like you get quite fit, ski fit.
Super ski fit.
But it was very different to skiing on snow because because it was so grippy.
Oh.
Like you had to kind of have like even weight on both skis. So you get back on snow and you'd be like, the forces aren't as strong.
And could you use edges and stuff like that?
Yeah.
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 Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Not just like pizzaing or just like.
Nah. So learning how to ski on it. So I worked there.
Yeah, cool.
Like probably 3 years, I reckon.
Nice. Oh, good job.
Great job.
Great
and it was like
job.
home, 10-minute walk to school, 10-minute walk to Ski City.
So good.
And everyone who worked there had done seasons. And they were
you were like
older, and they were like, you need to come to Whistler, you need to do this. And I was like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, that's how it starts, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's when like people are young and it's always they have like one person in their life that's like, come do a season. And they're like, oh, I'm young. Like, sure.
Yeah.
Hooked.
It's
kind of like a cult.
It is.
It's like you're in and you're not leaving.
You're never leaving. Yeah. I think we actually, because my mum was like, let's go check this out. And then we got there and she's like, you need a job here. So
she's like, I want like mates rates. I need cheap.
Yeah. So
Get in there.
She was like, this is Mimi. She needs a job here. And then they kind of just like took me under their wing and like put me through my instructor cert.
Oh, how good.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. And so I would just do kids' parties and they had like after school programs of teaching kids how to ski and I'd
how good is that?
do that. Yeah, it was awesome. And then so everyone who worked there were in between seasons, they'd come back and they'd be like, all right, when you finish school, come to Whistler, we'll get you a job.
How
to Falls Creek, get you a job. So I did. And then from there I met this lady came in. She was literally within the first 5 minutes of meeting me. I think I was 17. She was like, would you be interested in coming to Colorado with us and being our nanny? And I was like, yeah, sure.
Absolutely.
So I went with her and her 3 kids. She had a little 2, I think it was 2. The first year I went with them and then 2, an 8-year-old and an 11-year-old. They were in a race program.
Yeah, that's not your problem.
Not my problem.
Yeah.
Hung out with the 2-year-old, tried to teach him how to ski. Wasn't really having it.
I was going to say, how did that go?
There's lots of tantrums.
Yeah, it would have been.
So did that and then went straight to Whistler, like pretty much as soon as I finished high school.
How good. So it was almost like it was like almost laid out to you on a silver platter. Like this is your path.
Pretty much.
And you're like, yeah.
Yeah.
That's epic.
Well, sort of, yeah. It was so backstory a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So we did that season in Jindabyne.
Yeah.
And then I was at Wesley.
Okay, yeah. I was at Kerry.
Oh, wait. Yeah. And then Dad's business went bankrupt and we had to move schools, and my sister got a scholarship for Haileybury because they were just introducing girls.
Yeah. I remember that.
Yeah. And then they were like, what can Mimi do?
No.
And Mum was like, well, she can ski. So I got a skiing scholarship, literally been to like Thredbo a week a year, never done racing, never like we did that season, but skiing on the weekends. So like I could ski, but like a ski school kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got this scholarship for the academy, which is they went to Mount Buller for 3 months of the year and then went to France for 3 months of the year, all training, all racing. Never raced before.
So you were a race kid too.
So then I turned into a race car kid. So I was 12.
Wow.
And they were like, oh my God, okay, cool, we've got this. So then my dad was like, yeah, all right, well, we can like afford this. This would be fine.
This is workable, yeah.
Little did he know that we needed like 4 pairs of skis, a race suit, a helmet. Like I had
let
nothing.
alone the wax.
Like literally, and then to go to France. So off I go with all this new gear.
How good.
So there's 11 of us in this academy.
Yeah.
They were all number 1, number 2 in their year for ski racing.
Obviously. If you're
Obviously.
in France,
and then there was me, like could hardly ski. But I was so young and like didn't really like I look back on it now and I'm like, that is really funny. Like all those coaches would have been like, what is this girl doing here?
That's so funny.
But it was
at the time
I was like just rolling with it. I was like, this is cool.
I get to ski.
Go to France. And so I did 1 year of that and went to France and then went to Mount Buller. Yeah. And then we got kicked out of Haileybury because Dad never paid the school fees. So I had to leave. And that was kind of Mum's real like, I want you to keep skiing because you clearly love it.
Yeah.
So that probably like sparked the I want to be a skier.
Totally.
And then, from that. So that was year 7. I think, must have been year 7 that I did that year. Mm-hmm. And I think I was so lucky because that's where race club, you actually get so good at skiing.
So good. I was going to say it is the best foundation.
Yeah.
Because you learn all the technique, but at like a high, fast level.
Yeah.
And I think it's so good for confidence as well. Like I did it. I was similar age. I was like, I think I did it for like a year or 2 when I was like 11, 12, 13, like round about there. And like even to this day, there isn't anything like there's not in my head that I'm like, oh, no, like I can't ride that.
Yeah.
Because I have such a strong foundation of like, okay, just, yeah.
Yeah.
And it translates into the park and it translates into so many other things and like balance, body awareness.
Yeah.
All of that. And when you're doing it like all the time, like every weekend, because that's the nature of it. And like the perfect age as well, like that, like 12-year-old mark, like you've got some strength.
Yeah.
You've got some like knowledge and awareness. Yeah. It's like, you're set for life. Really.
Set for life. No, it's so true. Yeah. Learning all those skills at such a young age, like we're so lucky.
Yeah.
Because you're right. You just know you can get down anything.
Yeah.
Might not be great.
No, it
might not look good.
Yeah, but
you're confident that you can do it.
Yeah. Because I think when you're that age and you're moving at such a high speed, because I think getting used to going a high speed, not in a car, like just it's your body.
Yeah.
Like you're like, in that age, you just don't have that fear holding you back.
About it.
No, like even now I'm like, oh God, if I was to fall right now,
I'm
not working.
Yeah, exactly.
But when you're that age, it's like, it's just school. You can go to school when you're injured. That wouldn't even
cross your mind.
No, totally.
Yeah.
That's so cool. That's such an awesome, so you're like, even your upbringing, it's like, Mimi, you were skiing. You were put on this earth to get in those boots and ski.
Go skiing.
That's epic. So it's like, it sounded like there was just like a transition that naturally occurred. Yeah. It's so organic.
Yeah.
That you went into the seasons and all of that. And so Pilates, What started that?
Well, I'd always been into Pilates. Well, Pilates, yoga. Did ballet when I was growing up till I was 18. So like very movement focused.
Yeah.
And like had been thinking about Pilates through the seasons that I'd been doing, but never really been in one spot long enough to really get into it at a studio or anything. And then COVID happened.
Oh, yes, it did.
Yeah. And we were just stuck, and I was kind of like, I came back from Canada and was at home at mum's, just not really doing much. I was in isolation.
Yeah.
And
as in like the 2 weeks when you got back, isolation. Yeah.
Yeah. And then trying to figure out whether Falls was going to open or like, I was like, what am I going to do? What if like winter just doesn't happen? And then Pilates popped up on, must have been Instagram or
like an Insta ad or something.
Algorithm.
Yeah.
Because
well, especially if you're movement focused.
Yeah, and I think I'd been doing lots of Pilates like online, just, videos.
Thank you,
and
cookies.
Stuff. Yeah.
I love that like all the ads track what I do because then they're targeted.
Yeah.
Like you may not be doing Wildflower if it wasn't for Insta ads.
Yeah, exactly. They really got me.
Yeah.
I know. And you literally would just be like, I need a new pair of bathers. And then your phone will come up.
Bathers. Bikinis.
Yeah.
Swimmers.
But then you're like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah, you get over it. Yeah.
I brought my new bathers. What's next?
Because sometimes they ramp up after you buy something too.
Yeah.
I'm like,
it's done now.
Marketing people, come on, it's done.
Yeah.
The cycle's closed.
I don't have any more money to spend on bathers.
Skis.
Yeah. What's next? So then Breathe Education.
Breathe, I was going to say.
Popped up and they just transitioned all their courses to online. And I was like, maybe I should do it. And I was talking to Mum and she was like, I don't know, like,
it's not
do you really want to do that? And I was like, I think I do, because I'd been thinking that I'd wanted to do it in the past, but you'd always have to be in one spot for, I don't know, like
months.
I never was.
Yeah.
Or I'd have to be in Melbourne for months.
Totally. Yeah, not even like the mountains, or it's like Melbourne.
Melbourne, yeah. And I was like, I think I'm going to do it. So it was 20 weeks, the Matin Reformer online, and they did such a good job. Like, it was awesome.
I've heard amazing things. I've had a couple of mates that have done it. And
yeah, because it was still like 9 hours a week.
Wow, yeah.
And I think it was pretty much face-to-face for 9 hours. So you did like a lecture, a tutorial, study groups of other people, and then masterclasses of Pilates. So I did that, went through that, and just became obsessed with Pilates.
That's awesome.
And started teaching online just to my friends and whoever wanted to do it. And because we were all in COVID, so it was so nice. It was like this community.
Catch up.
Yeah, and people from everywhere, because some of my friends were like stuck overseas. And
oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So it was a really nice way for you to like reconnect to the
all
community.
Connect. Yeah, and I would just keep adding people into the group. Like, I was like, I'm doing Pilates, and people would be like, oh, I'll come. And like, I'd be like, okay, we're going to do it at 7:00 tomorrow morning. And then everyone would jump on. It was just like a nice way for everyone to catch up. And I'd be like, can you just tell me what I'm doing? If it's good, if it's not good, like whatever. And it kind of just stemmed from there. I became fully obsessed. And because that winter, so then we went into winter and I was still doing my course. And then I think we got like 4 days into the 2020 or 2021? It must have been
2020. I reckon it was 2020. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then they did the ringer. You couldn't get out of Melbourne and stuff.
Yeah.
For memory.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, it must have been that season. And then they shut down. And so yeah, we were doing it over that winter online.
Yeah.
And then I moved into this house in Paul Punker which is just near Bright.
Yeah.
And we had this massive backyard that was right on the river, and it was Crown land. So there was still restrictions and stuff, but so you'd walk through our backyard and then this big opening.
I know exactly like the spot. I think I've stayed in an Airbnb.
Really? Yeah.
In there.
River Run Airbnb?
I think so.
Because the house we were living in was an Airbnb.
Maybe. It was beautiful. It had massive doors. It maybe not.
But
I think the one we stayed in was like something lodge or
okay. Probably
sure.
right near there.
Yeah, in the same street probably.
Because
I think the first house had the big trampoline.
Yeah.
Yeah. In there.
On that little like
that little yeah, because I was going to say there's not much housing there.
No, yeah. Yeah, so on that little strip.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this would be perfect for Pilates. And so then I just started Wildflower and was like,
the name is epic.
See who comes.
Yeah.
And it kind of all started from the back. Well, it started on Zoom and then, the backyard Pilates in Paulpunka.
How good. And you would have had a lot of people from Bright coming and stuff like that?
Yeah. The first time it was lots of my friends. They were all very good support.
Yeah. Thank you, friends.
Thank you, friends. It was so nice. We'd do like a 6 a.m. and then we'd all sit around and have coffee after.
Oh, that's epic. What a good way to start the day.
It was so good. I was making the videos of like looking back on where it all started a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, oh, that was so nice.
Yeah.
Such a wholesome time.
So wholesome. So cool.
Yeah. I feel like because none of us were really working that much because there was
COVID.
Nothing going on.
No.
So we all just
and it was that I remember
drank lots of coffee.
So nice. And it was that awkward time where it's like, oh, like, are we working? Like, because I think all the like if you had a job, then you like because that all the what's it called? Like the help and the fee help. What is it called?
What is it called?
I can't remember. But like, so no one was really working, and everyone was just like chilling,
just getting money, and it was a very strange time.
It was, looking back, I'm like, that was bizarre.
That will never happen again. It was good. Like
6 a.m. Pilates, drink coffee, and it's like free money.
Yeah, I know. We were very lucky not to be in Melbourne.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah,
it was a nice time.
Yeah, and it would have been so quiet up there too in the high country.
Yeah, which was hard for a lot of people too, because obviously
there's not much happening.
Yeah, need businesses to run.
Totally.
But us in our little bubble.
Yeah.
Very fortunate.
Totally. But I think you also, I mean, it sounds like you were so onto it. You know, you're like, well, what do I do now? Rather than just sitting.
Yeah. And a lot of
for it to happen. You were like, oh no, like I'm going to do Pilates. I'm going to make this work.
Yeah.
Well.
And I feel like all our friendship group kind of did the same thing. It was kind of cool. A good, because we were so stuck in the cycle of back-to-back winters, and I'd kind of been wanting to get out of it for a while, but didn't really know what I wanted to do. And every time you'd finish a winter, someone would offer you a job elsewhere, and you'd be like, well, I'm not going to say no. What else am I going to do? Go work hospitality?
No.
Like, I don't want to do that. So it was actually kind of the kick that I needed. And I think for a lot of people in that same situation, just going back to back winters and then being like, what do I actually want to do? So,
but it's so cool because I think so many people during that time, by the sounds of it, it made them question, but they were like, no, like I love the snow. And it's like, how can I make it work for me? Like, how do I still do this but have my own project as well?
Yeah.
And make this work even better.
Yeah.
Which is like so awesome. Because a lot of people would go, oh, well, I guess I have to move back to Melbourne or move back home or get a job like in the city or something, or like get a job in Bright or Beauty or something, maybe not up the hill. Where, so many people like upskilled, started their own thing, and now they're like doing that, which is so cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool to watch.
That's awesome. And so it's been what, like 3 years?
3 years.
Wow.
Crazy.
It's gone quick.
It's so quick. But then looking back, I'm like, that does seem like it was ages ago.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. And And so Wildflower now, it's still going.
Wildflower is still going.
It lives on. The
Lives
flower
on.
is still blooming.
Yeah. So we've got a little reformer studio
Cool.
in Toowoomba South.
Nice.
It's in a shipping container.
Yeah, I saw that. It's in a shipping container.
Yeah.
So nice.
Yeah, it's pretty cute.
And it's you do 3-to-1 classes, right?
Yeah. So
That's
I've just got
really intimate.
3 beds in there.
And you've got like a chair and stuff too.
It's a chair.
Yeah.
It's a torture chair. Have you ever been on one?
No, I haven't. But I like look at it. I'm like, how does that work? All Pilates equipment. I'm like, how?
Yeah. They're just like tricky little machines.
Yeah.
Are a killer.
The burn.
The burn.
The burn chair.
That is burn.
The torture chair.
The torture
You've been
chair.
naughty. You're not listening. Get in the chair.
My clients will be like, ugh, the chair. Some of them love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
There's some sickos out there.
It's actually the best piece of equipment, but it's definitely a painful one.
Yeah. I mean, they're paying you to see the improvements.
Yeah.
And a lot of your clients, because I when I went on your profile, I was like, oh, you're doing quite like advanced moves and stuff, which is awesome, having that intimate space. Like you doing like back bends I saw and so much cool stuff that you're able to do.
Which is the beauty of having such small classes. And everyone has their own goals. Like obviously not everyone wants to be able to do a back bend.
Totally, yeah.
But yeah, so I tailor the classes. Everyone has their own program. So if they're in the 3-to-1 group, we'll do an initial session and kind of figure out what they want to get out of it and where they're at, their goals. So some people will be rehabbing, I've got a few that have done their knee and coming back to skiing.
Yeah, skiers and knees.
Skiers and knees. And then some who just want to advance their Pilates practice, some who just want to work out, like really mixed bag. So that's the beauty of having such a small class. I can be like, you can do this and we'll work towards your goal. You can be doing something completely different. And then everyone gets the most out of their 50 minutes.
Yeah, how good.
Yeah.
And so with Pilates, because it's something I guess you did during COVID and you became obsessed with it, once you got onto the snow after doing so much of it, like did you notice
Huge difference?
Yeah, tell me more about that. Yeah.
Well, just being stronger and more, I guess, flexible and mobile in the strength that you have relates so well into skiing and snowboarding, and just being able to recover from
a
fall, or especially when you're in the park, being able to maneuver better, save yourself. You've got that like strength in the quick movements because there's lots of twisting, lots of bending, flexibility in Pilates, which correlates into skiing.
Yeah, it complements so well.
And all that core strength.
It's everything
you need. And for all sports, really, like being on a bike, your rate of injury is so much less the stronger you are. And being strong in those movements that aren't necessarily just like they're full body movements. Pilates is all full body movements. So you're using pretty much every muscle in your body to do.
Even the tiny little ones you didn't even think existed.
Like you'll watch someone do, if you've never done Pilates and you watch someone do it, you're like, that looks really easy.
Oh God, no.
And then you try it and you're like, oh my God, I've never felt these muscles before in my life. What is this? So it's like, yeah. And then you have that stability, I guess for sake of a better word, when you're, doing all
the stuff. And I think like it's even because when I was doing Pilates a lot, like you hold yourself differently as well. Like everything is like open, it's strong. You're just like better. It's just like,
yeah. And because you're using your muscles at their longest length in a lot of the exercises. So it is that you feel taller, stronger, longer.
Yeah. So what do you mean by using them in the longest length?
Because so instead of just like, a bicep curl where you just at the gym or doing a lunge, you kind of you're using your full muscle length or your full extension.
So the range of motion. Yeah. And especially with the twisting and everything as well, because gym work can be, or like I guess if you think about it, like it's like squat, deadlift, like a lot of people that do all the massive compound movements, they are very one way. Like there's not much rotation. There's not much like anti-movements and all of that.
Whereas, you're kind of getting that whole body movement and that you're getting the flexibility. So like in a lunge, you'd be coming into your full length lunge rather than just a little.
Especially because it's like a slide rather than like a step out.
Yeah, and like all the, I don't know, planking and side planking, lots of twisting, which is
a lot of
then,
pikes, tugs.
Yeah. So instead of just doing that, but I think the compound movements are awesome and everyone should be doing them too.
Yeah. Or it's like, it's not one or the other.
It's like you build that strength, but then you're getting that length and flexibility so that when, if you fall over and you can bend your knee like this and it's not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
Whether if you don't
Rather
do
if
anything.
You're like stuck.
If you just sit all day, not moving your body in their full ranges of motion, then when you fall over or get put in that awkward situation, it's going to hurt.
Totally.
Because your muscles aren't used to moving like that.
Totally, yeah.
But if you're working in those ranges of motion under load, doing Pilates, when you get put in that tricky situation and your knee kind of goes like that, you're like, oh, I'm actually okay.
I got this.
Yeah.
That's
so I think I noticed that a lot when I
that those like near misses could have been
so could have been a knee, could have been a
ACL
back.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, maybe I need to do some more Pilates then. I wouldn't have hurt my back.
Yeah. Everyone needs to do Pilates.
Totally. That's so cool. And have like a lot of your clients, like have you noticed have they noticed a difference as well?
Yeah.
In their ability to spring back and just move better.
Yeah. I get that a lot. They'll be like, just, picking up the shopping is so much easier. Stepping up onto the deck, I can do it now.
Yeah.
And I do a lot of like getting down onto the floor, getting up, like full ranges of motion. Like some of my friends have been like, I've never been able to cross my legs and now I can. My mum was like, I could never squat.
Yeah.
But it was just a preconceived idea in her head. And I'm like, of course you can squat.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? But because she broke her leg when she was younger and got told she'd never be able to do that. I'm like, well, you can do it.
Yeah. And do you see that a lot, like the mind-body connection with Pilates as well? I mean, you can go into a Pilates class and you cannot feel a thing because you're not activating. Mind-body connection isn't there. Or you may have like a block, like I can't do this or I can't do that. Where I guess you're also going in there and people are seeing that they can move their body in a certain way and they're like, oh, hang on. Yeah, like I can do this. And it's like a unlock. Because I remember, I remember my first Pilates class I ever went to. I was like, oh, I didn't like really feel it. And then after like a couple classes, I was like, oh, like I wasn't activating certain parts of my body. Like I wasn't putting my core on, my like technique wasn't quite right. And then I was like, oh, I remember like once that clicked for me, I was like, oh, I feel it everywhere.
Yeah.
All those little muscles.
And I feel like because if you're on a reformer, the first few times you do it, you're like, what the hell is this? What is going on? There's so much moving parts.
Springs
and it's like, so you actually don't really think about your body because you're so focused on what you're actually doing, which I think is cool at the start to just learn the movements and then
otherwise you're going to fall off.
Yeah. And just being like, okay, what are we doing here? And then once you have figured it out, then you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I can feel
and I guess
going on
because
you can only really think about, you have trust in the machine. I always tell people that. I'm like, let's just get used to it and just feel it out, see what it feels like, and you'll build the trust and confidence as it goes on. Because first time you do like a long stretch, so like holding onto the bar, your feet are in a plank, you're just staring down at the springs being like, am I just going to face plant into these springs? Like,
Totally. Yeah.
ease into it. And then, you build the confidence and then you start getting that range of motion, which then you're like, oh my God, yep, okay, I can feel every single muscle.
Yeah. And now, do you prefer mat or reformer?
Oh, I love them both.
Yeah.
Mat was definitely my first love.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing quite like being able to move your body weight. Like, I think that is
because it's a totally different feeling, isn't
when
it?
You're like, I can lift myself up and I can, do a handstand and be walking on my hands, which not all Pilates is.
Yeah.
But the reformer
Extreme Pilates.
Yeah. But then the reformer is just such a cool piece of equipment.
It's real fun.
Yeah,
isn't it?
it's so fun. And you can just do everything on it. Like, and always something new to learn, always something new, or like the same exercise, but you change the spring and it's totally different.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah. I remember when I was doing it, that blew my mind that like sometimes doing something with a light spring or no spring is like so much harder than like a heavy spring.
Yeah.
And then there's other things that it's like, yeah, the heavier the spring, the harder it is.
The harder it is.
And then you get to upper body and you're like, oh, I can't even like move it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's very cool. So I don't know. I love both of them. I think
they're so different.
Yeah. And doing combination of both is because then it all translates back to each other. Like, the reformer helps you with some of the mat exercises and is more supportive, but then it can be the total opposite and you can really ramp it up on the reformer.
Yeah. And and the cardio reformer, like once you put like what is it called?
Jump board.
The jump board. I used to love that.
It's pretty fun.
Because it used to it was kind of like a special little treat.
Yeah.
And then sometimes you'd be like, oh shit, like this is coming out and I'm like not ready for it. Like I went too hard early on.
Yeah.
But it's so fun.
So fun. It kind of distracts you from like the hard work that you're doing.
The cardio. I need all the distraction when it comes to cardio. So jump boards are like great for me.
Jump boards are good. Yeah.
Yeah. So and you like can do tricks and you feel like you're in the air. But love it.
It's just a good time.
Good. Do you bring it out much?
Probably not as much as I should. So I do like these fitness classes, which is just 4 people, and we bring it out sometimes. Yeah. I normally bring it out on the cold mornings. I'm like,
that's
tonight,
a good idea.
This morning,
let's get warm.
Yeah, let's get warm. But maybe I'll do that next week.
Yeah. So if anyone's booked in for next week,
I'll be like,
you prepare.
Be prepared for jump board class.
Yeah. How good. And so you've got Wild Guide Escapes as well. So how did you, or what is it to start? Let's paint the picture.
Guides Escapes is so my friend Macca has Falls Creek Guides and he does like hiking and e-biking tours up at Falls Creek in summer and then ski touring in winter. And then I did a Pilates retreat and I was like, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Like,
where'd you go?
We went to Mount Buff. No, we did the first one was in Harriettville at this beautiful
Harriettville's stunning, yeah.
And we hiked Feathertop.
Nice.
And then went swimming and did lots of Pilates. It was like a weekend. And I was like.
And you ran it or did you go on it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Had you been on a retreat before running it?
No.
Oh,
I was kind of like, I found this property and I was like, this is so cool. And I want to take people hiking. I was kind of like, I want to take people who wouldn't do it themselves but would really like to hike Mount Feathertop.
Mm-hmm.
And like we were saying, all things Pilates just correlate so well to all things adventure and mountains. So I was like, I'm just going to give it a go.
Go you.
And I just put it out there and I think I had 8 people come.
That's a nice group size.
Yeah. And
it's like not a small amount that it's like awkward and it's like, but it's big enough that people can mingle and not so big.
And very manageable for my first ever one. Yeah. And it was all friends of friends or family friends. So I knew everyone or
Pretty much, like well enough. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was just great. I was like, this is it. I love this. Combining
when you're
two
in it, you're just like, it's quite like a moving moment.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh my God, like this is.
Yeah. It was just so cool because I was like watching everyone get to the top of Feathertop and be like, oh, like feeling so accomplished. And I was like, yeah, it's a huge walk for people who don't do that.
Totally.
And
doing it collectively as well is so much more powerful.
Yeah.
And you're like cheering each other on. And
then we'd just get back and do Pilates. And I was like, this is just the best.
Yeah.
I need to keep doing this.
Yeah.
And then so I was speaking to Macca about it and I was like, I think we could do this well together. So we did. We started Wild Guides and then it was a bit more about what do people want to do that they probably don't want to do all the time. So they're not going to invest money into, buying all this camping gear and doing things. But that experience is something they'll remember forever. So we thought like hiking and camping. So we were like, yep, let's do that. That'd be cool.
And it's one of those things too that can be so hard. And like in the moment you're like, oh, this is so hard. I can't do this.
Yeah.
Or like you get home and you're like, oh, shit. Like I need to, like often when I've gone for really big hikes, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it again once I forget how hard that was. So it's almost like people aren't going to go out and do it all the time. But it's the most rewarding thing. Like sometimes in the moment, once you do it a little bit more, but sometimes in hindsight, you're like, oh no, that was like that built character and resilience and like group connection and all of that.
Yeah. And there's just something so special about like being in the wilderness up on the mountains that not many people get to experience because it all just is too hard. It seems way too hard. Or people were like, how do you make this easier?
Or people go up to the snow as well and like all the accommodations there. Like it's set up, it's especially in summer too, up at falls or the mountains, like it's accessible.
Much easier.
Yeah. And the prices aren't too bad because it's not peak season and stuff. But you're still not like in nature. Yeah. Like the raw elements. Like earning where you sleep and that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So we wanted to make it easy. So we were like, we called them luxury adventure escapes. So the first one we did, and this is kind of where we are with it, we have accommodation at Falls the first night. So they arrive and have accommodation. And then Macca and I go and set up the tents and take everything out to the campsite.
Luxurious.
So no one needs to worry about carrying it or anything.
Yeah.
And then we take them out on either the e-bikes or hiking, whatever they want to do.
Or ski touring.
Or ski touring. Yeah. So in winter, ski touring. Yeah. And we make our way out to the campsite, wherever that might be. So it falls, we either go to Edmondson's hut or Toowoomba huts. Or if it's people want to do a custom one, we can kind of go wherever.
Go with the flow.
Yeah. And then we take them for a big hike or e-bike ride or ski tour and then end up at the camp and stay there the night and have all the food and everything. So that the guests really don't have to worry about anything.
They rock up.
They come, they get to experience everything and we organise everything.
Awesome. And you've got the equipment and all of that.
Yeah. And then we do Pilates out on the high plains, which is just
breathtaking.
Yeah, it's so cool. And then it's either 1 or 2 nights. So we either stay out there another night or go back to Falls Creek and they can stay in the accommodation again, have some nice luxury again before they head home. So kind of get a little taste of everything.
That's so awesome. And is it usually just 1 or 2 nights? Like have you done like week long or anything like that?
Not yet. We've got a few in the cards.
Oh, cool.
So we've got, at the moment, we're kind of offering customized tours. So, if you and your 6 friends wanted to come and you'd be like, we want to go hiking, we want to climb Spion Cope or whatever, and then we make the tour around that.
Cool.
and we'd still organise everything. And, you know, if depending on where it is, if we can get the equipment out, we will. But if we can't, then we'll be like,
we've got to
carry
carry.
it.
Yep.
And so it just depends on what people
they want
to do.
And I guess what experience they want, which is so cool because often with like retreats or guides, it's like, this is the package, this is what we do. But the fact that you guys like work with your clients, that's so cool and it's so fun.
Because again, everyone wants something different and you want to get the most out of it. So.
Totally. I mean, you don't want people there that like, it's not exactly what we want, but it'll do.
Yeah. And then we have ones that are set in stone. Like in March, I'm doing a Pilates retreat again in Bright, which will be a Mount Buffalo hike.
Cool.
But all just no camping, just staying at this beautiful Airbnb.
Nice.
Right on the river in Bright.
Yeah. Yep. So nice.
And that one's pretty like, this is what we're doing. So anyone can come. Which, cool. So then that'll be a nice chance for people to meet new people.
Which is awesome. And people that are into the same thing. Or have the same feelings, like leading it. Like they might be a bit nervous.
Yeah. And it's such a cool way to like meet like type people and have the same interests. And again, do something that you wouldn't normally do by yourself.
Really put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like it's hard. If your friends don't like doing things you like doing, you don't want to go hiking a mountain by yourself.
Well, it's very dangerous.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Let alone, you know, and especially like you kind of need to like taste test before you fully commit, even like to equipment and it.
Yeah.
Kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to like go and purchase all these things and be like,
I don't like this.
I don't like this, or I don't have anyone to go with.
Totally.
So I'm never going to go.
That's the fun of it.
It's like, I just combining everything I love and being able to share that with other people is pretty cool.
Yeah. Loving it.
Yeah.
And how, because I guess you do like so much Pilates indoors or like, do you do like you've got your studio and stuff like that. And then you also offer a lot of outdoor mat classes and I mean on the retreats and everything. What's the difference? Like, do you notice a difference? Is it because, I mean, whenever I'm out in nature, it's incredible.
Yeah.
So what do you see in?
I think that it's just a nice way to connect. You know, the birds are chirping, you're outside doing your thing. You might be working hard, doing something hard, and you just can feel quite, I guess, energized. Like when I do Pilates in the park on Tuesday and Thursday evenings over summer in Mount Beauty, and you're just watching the sun go down over the lake, over the mountains, fresh air, like just breathing in fresh air. A lot of people work inside all day and they just seem so happy. Like I know I get so excited when I'm like, because over winter we do it in the auditorium, which is fun. But it's like,
doesn't hit quite the same.
Not it. Like when we're outside, you're breathing in fresh air. You just
that
feel
fresh mountain
a lot
air,
more alive.
Just it feels different.
And it's definitely good for your dopamine levels.
Oh, yeah, it's good for the soul. Yeah.
And just a lot of people spend all day working inside and might not get a chance to be outside.
Take that big breath. Yeah.
Yeah.
And especially being in the mountains.
And then when we're on the mountains and people come from the city, like you see it, everyone's just happy. Like there was one retreat we did over Easter and it was pretty cold, like it was wet, but everyone was just stoked. Like we were doing Pilates outside. It's a little bit drizzly. And I was like, oh, sorry about the rain. Like, you know, being a bit like, oh, I don't know if people are going to like this or not. But you feel alive because you're outside, you're doing it, you're moving your body. It's just, it's a different feeling.
And I think sometimes, like me with work, when it is raining, like the rain then allows you to appreciate the good or like the sun and and like when it's really hot and you get that sun, when it's really hot and then you get that rain, it's like, oh, it's relief and it's like, it's almost like it shifts your mindset, I
Yeah.
reckon, as well.
Yeah.
It's like a complete like moment of presence that comes over you and washes over you because it's different to what you've been experiencing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's like, oh
absolutely.
my gosh, yeah, like Trav partner, he's just on a thesis on exercising outdoors
Has
versus
he?
indoors. Yeah. I don't completely understand it all because it's all in like it's scientific. So
Yeah.
I'm like, oh. But it's been really interesting like looking at all the responses and stuff to
Yeah.
that as well. From like everyone they've interviewed and stuff like that. So I guess like my ears like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see if you noticed a difference in that. Because I know I noticed a massive difference in myself. Like since working in the outdoors, like I can't get enough of it.
Yeah.
And you really do notice when you are indoors for too long, you're like, oh, like I just don't feel like I just need to get outside and like breathe in fresh air and hear the birds and smell the flowers and it's
Yeah.
you want to do it more and more and more.
Yeah, you get addicted to being outside
Totally.
doing things.
And once you have like the right equipment and the right gear, like you're fine. Yeah. And once you're like, the more often you get like wet from rain, you're like, oh, it's just water.
It's just water.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
And it gets
definitely
easier.
nothing quite like just being out in the mountains or anywhere on the beach, like just being outside in the elements.
Yeah, like last night.
Except the wind because we don't
Yeah,
like wind.
no. Wind is where it's like, nah, not for
we
me.
draw the line at wind.
Yeah. The wind can fuck right off.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
we won't be
so
doing
good.
any Pilates in the wind.
No. We go ahead in the rain, but
Yeah, but not in the wind. Nah.
And so did you start snow touring or ski touring before doing the guides?
Yeah.
Guiding, yeah. And how did you get into it? Because it's something that I would love to get into. Like I'd love to get into split boarding. I know, but there's so much equipment and the accessibility. Like I was talking to Abby about this and I was like it sounds crazy, but going to the snow is so accessible. Like when you actually break it down, like even riding bikes, I think is less accessible. Like the snow is so expensive.
Yeah.
But it's quite easy because it's like, I feel like to an extent, it's like if you've got the money, then it's like you can get the rental. It's like there's shuttle or there's chairlifts everywhere.
Yeah.
There's like you can find a place to stay quite easily, that kind of stuff. We're getting into like ski touring. It's like there's not just a shop where you can just go like hire stuff and then like just go out and kind of figure it out, like because there is higher risk and it is more niche. Like there's great tours and stuff, but it's like how to get into
it. And then I think once you're into it, you like, it's easy.
It's easy.
It's way easier than going skiing on a chairlift.
Totally.
You don't have to do all that faff to.
And the faff is, as we were talking before.
So it's like, it's
knackered.
funny. I feel like it's like what we were saying earlier, that skiing seems accessible to us because that's what we know.
So
but
true.
for someone else, they'd be like, it's way easier just to get your bike and go to the bike track.
So
like,
true.
It's so much easier. But for us, we're like, we understand the snow. So
that's true.
It seems easy for us.
Do you think like, because I've got a lot of friends who want to ride bikes and they're like, I don't even know where to start. It's like, I don't know where to ride. I don't know like what to even expect when I'm out there.
Yeah.
Because like there isn't like
there's
a
not
bike
lessons.
school or like a ski school.
Yeah.
And it's even like even like a green run. Like some like Medina when I went to Tassie, those green runs, I was like, fuck, have you been to Tassie?
Hectic. Yeah.
Holy, have you been to Medina?
Yeah.
I was like, we went like straight to the Blues because we were like, yeah, we'll go Blue Flow. And I was like,
this is not a Blue
what
Flow.
The fuck is this? This is not Blue Flow. I was also like, this place is so awesome.
Yeah, it's
and I was
cool.
like, holy shit.
I'd like to go back there now that I've done a bit more riding.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was very fun.
Very fun.
Very scary.
Very scary. I remember like being so nervous when I was there. And I know people that have like gone when they were not as confident on their bike. and they really struggled. Like they had to walk.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going from the very top because it's all blue and black.
And it's hard.
And it's hard.
If you've never done it before.
Yeah. Like you would.
Yeah.
You'd get into some serious trouble if imagine if you're like, oh yeah, everyone goes to Medina. I'm going to hire a bike.
And
I'll
just
shuttle
give it a
up
go.
and give it a go. You'd fucking die.
Yeah.
Or
you'd just
hurt
have
yourself.
a really bad time because
just walk down.
Crying.
Honestly though, half the stuff you can't even walk down.
Yeah.
You have to ride down.
You just have to commit.
Yeah. You have to
you
just go
and
for
just
it.
Go.
Yeah. I've never ridden. I've always been like, oh, I get downhill bikes and I get when I went to Medina, I was like, I understand 29-inch wheels, downhill bikes.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, yes, I get it. This is what it's for.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's pretty cool. But it's like, it's like that ski.
Yeah.
Like the ski touring, even for me, I'm like, how do I?
You kind of got to have the people to show you. Like when I was in Japan.
Is that where you learn?
No, I learned at Falls Creek.
Yep.
One of probably a few of my friends had kind of started getting into it, and it was very easy at Falls Creek because there is low risk, like avalanche risk, and you can just go out the back of Ruined Castle, do a few laps of Mackay, do the Rocky Knolls, and it's very easy. And I could borrow one of my friends' skis probably the first year, and then I was like, I love this. I'm going to just invest.
Yeah.
And once you have the gear, it's much easier because then you can just go and learn as you go.
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's kind of what Macca's whole business is at Falls Creek. He has Falls Creek Guides, which is just taking people out for the day. So he has all the skis, all the skins.
How cool. Does he have split boards?
No, but we can rent them.
Okay.
So we do, like we did a big
I was going to say, I'd love to do, because I was going to say I'd love to do it. But I was like, I don't know if I'd be able to ski down. I haven't skied in a very long time.
There's a lot more split boards for rent.
That's cool.
Around Falls now. Cool. That, again, COVID really got everyone into backcountry a little bit more because no chairs
were running. Yeah.
So a lot of the shops got split boards and skis.
That's real good to know.
Yeah. So you can always rent them and then hire Macca for the day.
Yeah. Cool.
He'll take you out. And once you kind of learn the basics, and then when you go over, the basics are good to know here. And then obviously when you go overseas, the risks get much higher. So I did my Abbey courses when I was in Japan and got a lot more experience there because I was in Hakuba 2019. It was the worst season Japan had in the 60 years that they'd recorded.
I think I was there 2018. I remember that next. Yeah.
No snow, but the backcountry was on.
Yeah.
So we got super into it and had like some of the best days ever.
Epic. Oh my gosh, backcountry in Japan would be a whole nother.
Insane. like
even just like the resort.
Yeah. And Hakuba has some big mountains.
It does, yeah. When I think I went 2018 and that year they had like at the back of Hapo, they had quite a few abbeys and stuff like that. And I remember we went to Cortina and the top half of the mountain was all shut because of avalanche warnings and there was like slips happening and stuff just like in the middle of runs because it was so wet. And then they got so much snow on top of it. It was just all, it was pretty.
You want to know what you're doing there.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
You definitely do.
Yeah, and be with the right people. So we had a pretty good crew. There was just probably 4 of us that would go out and all very good friends.
Yeah.
Look after each other.
So, yeah, because you want to trust who you're with.
Yeah, you want to trust who you're with. You want to make sure that everyone's on the same page so that you're not stopping in bad places. You're looking out for each other. Yeah, so we got really into it there. And then just at Falls, it's so great. Just being able to go out, go camping for the night.
So good. You'd see some epic sunrises and sunsets.
It's just the best.
Yeah, I can imagine. It wouldn't get much better. than that.
Yeah, you'll have to come up
100%.
next
You take
season.
me?
Yeah, I'll take you out.
I'm just like imagining me like on like the skis, like trying to learn how to do it.
No, you
I'd
can
like
get
to-
your split board. I
That's
can
true.
teach you how to ski.
Yeah.
You know, when you were a race club kid?
Yeah, but not skiing. I was on a board.
On a board.
Yeah.
Mm,
But like I can ski.
I'm sure you
Like I went over to Austria when I was younger and we didn't get snow at all while we were there. And it was so icy because it was so like sunny during the day and then it would just freeze because it's so cold overnight. And there was so much traversing. I was like, fuck this, I'm putting skis on. So went and hired skis. And I was like, oh, that's better. And I had a great time.
There you
like
go.
I can definitely
do it.
ski.
But
And
yeah, if
sometimes
you're
I'll
going
steal
out the
someone's.
back,
But if I'm
maybe.
going out the back,
You'd want to snowboard.
I did.
You want to enjoy it.
I did a pond scheme at Bulla like many years ago. And the lip that they made for the jump was like big. And I was like, I don't even know if it just the way it would work on a snowboard, I was like, I just don't know if I feel like it's just gonna like kick me out to like then skim. I was like, I feel like I need to be like front on and really like, so I just put skis on and did it on like mum's skis. I was like, thanks mum, stealing your skis. It didn't end well at all.
No?
Nah, but it was fun.
Did you get a bit wet?
Very wet. Very wet. Yeah. I plonked.
Oh,
I just
no.
little skim and then just like started slowly sinking. And I was like, oh, this is so embarrassing. And like you dressed up and everything as well.
And just the moment when you're like, oh no.
And then it's like, I got to try get out of here. And then you're just walking in your boots. It's like squelch, squelch, squelch.
Oh.
But no, I'll throw on skis. When I need to.
When you need to.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll have to go for sure. I'd love that so much. And what's coming up next? Wildflower.
Wildflower.
Or what's like your offerings, I guess?
At the moment, well, we're going to Italy. We're taking people to Italy with Wild Guard Escapes to the Dolomites.
How nice.
In February, which is pretty cool.
How long are you going for?
I'm going for 3 weeks,
Yep.
but the trip is a week.
Nice.
So we've got 10 people coming, which will
That'll
be
be
pretty cool.
mad.
So it'll just be like, skiing, resort, skiing, Pilates, the whole package.
That'll be epic.
Lots of fun. And then we've got lots of summer escapes. So those camping, hiking, e-biking ones.
Mm-hmm.
We don't, and customized ones. So they're on offer.
Yep. So hit you guys up.
Yeah, if anyone
We
is
want to do some fun
interested.
stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll take you out on the high country. Do some camping. Do some hiking.
Good times.
Yeah.
E-biking.
E-biking.
I love that it's an e-bike too.
Yeah, it's sick.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
so good. And you just get so far.
So fast and far. Yeah. So good.
And then, Pilates retreat in March.
You're going to be busy
Yeah, it's
next year.
busy, but all fun stuff.
Yeah,
And
and
then
then-
just regular Pilates classes.
And they're out of beauty and just beauty
so I
over
do
summer.
Just beauty over summer. Yeah. And then I do an online one every
Cool.
Tuesday morning
Cool.
on Zoom.
Yeah.
But just Mount Beauty summer, Pilates, hiking.
That'll be
camping.
great. Yeah. And do you have any, like, I guess you're going to Italy. Do you have any other like personal trips or things you're excited about?
Well, hopefully going to Chile
Oh.
in September for my 30th,
Oh, how
which will
exciting.
be ski touring over there.
Epic.
If hopefully they have a season like they did this year because they had ridiculous amounts of snow.
Awesome.
Don't know if they can back that up 2
I
years in a
know.
row.
What are like the
but
chances of it being back to back?
Hopefully it's good.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
Hopefully the
so
weather
that'll
patterns
be pretty
aren't
exciting.
following over there.
Yeah. Are you going anywhere?
No. I mean, I'm going to Thredbo over summer
Oh, yeah.
to ride bikes. I think that's all that I've got planned. I'll head up to Ilden over Chrissy and then we'll head up to Thredbo and just ride our Till we're dead.
Hearts out.
ride our little hearts out.
Fun.
Have you been to Thredbo to
Yeah.
ride?
Yeah.
It's good fun, isn't it?
Chairlifts are great.
Oh, it's actually crazy that like Falls and Bulla aren't more onto that.
I know. And you just get so much better because you can do so many laps
So
and you're
much
not
better.
exhausted.
Yeah, and it's like it's not a full. I mean, it is a full day, but it's more riding
Yeah.
than it is. And I
than
mean,
it is sitting on a
Thredbo's
bus.
Thredbo's set up so well for it because the runs are long. 'Cause They just wind down.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good fun.
When are you going there?
That'll be over New Year's.
Yeah, cool.
And then back into camp with the kids. Term 1's hectic.
Really?
Hectic. That's like our on time.
Yeah.
So that'll be busy.
Busy.
Yeah.
Oh, exciting.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for
and
having
having
me.
a chat. Yeah, it was so good.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, and where can people find you?
On Instagram, Wildflower Pilates, and Wild Guides Escapes.
Cool. Awesome.
But if you go on Wildflower Pilates, it's probably easy to remember.
Yeah.
The Wild Guides Escapes is another. It'll be on there. You'll be able to
It'll all
find
be there
it
together.
Yeah.
I'll put it in the link as well.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Cool.
Awesome.
You did it. Woo. Hello. If you are watching this, it means you've made it to the end of the podcast, and I'm so blessed that you've chosen to spend the time here with us at Extremely Well. If you liked what you saw here today, and I'm hoping you did if you're here at the end, can you please hit that subscribe button, hit the follow, leave a review, tell us what you liked, what you didn't like. This is all for you. So we want to make sure that we are serving the community in the best way that we can. If you want to connect with us through our other channels, I'll leave them down below in the description box, and I can't wait to connect with you next time.